Welcome to Lead with Clarity. This is a space for leaders who want to grow without losing themselves in the process. Each episode is a short reflection on leadership, influence, and the inner work that shapes how we show up for others. It's not hype, not noise, just clear thinking for the journey of leading well. Today's episode is entitled Stop Defining, Start Being, Marcus Aurelius on Character and Leadership. Here we go. There's a question that shows up in almost every leadership conversation. What does it actually mean to be a good leader? We debate it. We workshop it. We build frameworks around it. We hire consultants to help us name it. And somewhere in all of that activity, we lose sight of something critical: the doing. Marcus Aurelius was a Roman emperor. He commanded armies, governed an empire, and navigated political pressure that would collapse most people. And in his private journals, the ones he never intended for publication, he kept returning to one idea: stop theorizing, start being. He wrote it simply when he said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." That's it. No framework, no six-step model, just a direct instruction to himself and to anyone willing to sit with it. I've sat across from executives who could articulate their values with remarkable precision. They had them laminated, posted on walls, embedded in onboarding decks. And then I'd watch them avoid a hard conversation with a direct report for months. I'd see them make a resource decision that directly contradicted the equity values they'd championed in an all-hands meeting 2 weeks prior. The words were right, but the behavior hadn't caught up. That's not a character flaw, it's a gap. And gaps are closable, but only if you're honest enough to name them. Aurelius was writing to himself. He wasn't performing virtue for an audience. He was holding himself accountable in private. That's the part that most leaders miss. The practice of character isn't public. It starts in the quiet moment before you walk into the room. Here's where most people take this quote in the wrong direction. They hear it as permission to stop learning, as if reflection is the enemy of action. That's not what Aurelius was saying. He spent his entire life studying Stoic philosophy. He read, he thought, he engaged deeply with ideas. What he rejected was the substitution of discussion for behavior. There's a difference between developing your thinking and hiding behind it. A lot of leadership culture right now rewards articulation. The person who speaks most eloquently about values often receives the most recognition. And that creates a quiet incentive to perform rather than practice, to post rather than lead. The reframe here is straightforward. Character is revealed under pressure, not declared in mission statements. Your team is not watching what you say at the all hands. They're watching what you do when the budget gets cut, when the timeline slips, when someone makes a public mistake, when the ethical path is the harder one. They're watching how you treat people when there's nothing to gain. They're watching whether the person who walked into the difficult conversation is the same person you've claimed to be. That's where leadership lives, not in the declaration, but in the moment. Before your next team interaction, ask yourself one question. Is who I'm about to be consistent with who I say I am? Not whether you have the right words, not whether your framework is solid, just simply, does my behavior match my stated commitments right now, in this meeting, with this person or these people, in this decision or these decisions? That's the practice. Repeated daily, imperfectly, and honestly. Marcus Aurelius got it wrong too. He wrote about it. The journals are full of it. But he kept returning to the question, and so should we. Leadership is not a title. It's not a certification. It's not even a skill set, though skills certainly matter. At its core, leadership is a pattern of behavior that others can trust over time. Aurelius didn't leave us a management methodology. He left us something harder and more useful: a mirror. A daily reminder that the gap between our stated values and our actual behavior is not a theoretical problem. It's a practical one. And the only solution is to close it, one decision at a time, one conversation at a time, one moment of choosing the harder right over the easier wrong. You don't become a good leader by defining what one looks like. You become one by behaving like it, especially when no one is watching.